Hey guys, it's Godbars here, the self-proclaimed hip-hop historian, and this is the 372nd episode of my series, where I grab a vinyl from my collection, talk about why I love it, what influence it has, and what its place is in the grand scheme of hip-hop. So this is actually a bit of a last-second replacement, as I had a different review entirely written and ready to go, but then long story short, the order ended up falling through, so in the meantime, I had to grab something I had sitting in my collection already, and I figured that even though I started this set off with a Ghetto Boys LP, I might as well return to Scarface, since I've only discussed 2 solo albums of his so far, and he's one of my all-time favorite rappers, like probably top 5. I've done a number of projects from the full trio by this point, including 1991's We Can't Be Stopped, 1993's Till Death Do Us Part, and arguably my personal favorite, 1996's The Resurrection. But I've also covered a couple of solo LPs from Face, those being 1994's The Diary and 2002's The Fix, which is another reason I wanted to get into his debut here, 1991's Mr. Scarface is Back, which has probably been in my collection longer than all of those other classics I just named, though of course I'll link all of those reviews down below in the description, since truthfully it's going to be a bit difficult to find anything to say about this Houston icon that I haven't in the past, but regardless I'll do my best. This breakout project obviously wouldn't be nearly as fleshed out and epic as his later work, but that's made up for through the incredibly brash, grimy, and unfiltered angle he takes here, which sonically isn't dissimilar to We Can't Be Stopped, which came out the same year, and you can tell that Face was in a similar mind space when he created his breakout solo album, because it shares that same very uncompromising approach. I've touched on it before, but 1991 was one of hip-hop's most prolific years ever, right up there with 93 and 94, and that's largely thanks to the fact that pretty much every area of the country was just seeping with quality hip-hop. And even outside of these LPs from Scarface and Ghetto Boys that acted as landmarks in the South, we also saw plenty of game-changing, genre-altering material, like Ice Cube's Death Certificate, A Tribe Called Quest's Low End Theory, Ice-T's OG Original Gangster, De La Soul's De La Soul is Dead, DJ Quake's Quick is the Name, and Public Enemy's Apocalypse 91, The Enemy is Black, just to name a few. However, it was definitely hardcore gangster rap that was taking the world by storm at this time, and while Dr. Dre's The Chronic was still a year away at this point, 1991 still had plenty of other important West Coast LPs that helped define this sound just as much, if not more, than the South did, with projects like E-Phil for Zaggin by NWA, Cypress Hill's self-titled debut, Straight Checkin' 'Em by Compton's Most Wanted, and Ain't a Damn Thing Changed by Dub C and the Mad Circle. And while there may be a difference in slang and regional references, I feel like the South had plenty in common with the West in this era, which is probably why we would go on to see more and more collaborations between those two areas as the decade progressed. Of course, Scarface himself would be one of the many big names who helped this integration along, but he also would develop a knack for collaborating with MCs from New York and other places. And I think that willingness to look outside of his hometown for inspiration, while still managing to stay true to where he came from, is one of the numerous reasons why Face has been able to transcend so many years, and in my opinion drop top-tier releases every decade since the 80s. Mr. Scarface is Back only produced 2 singles, but they just so happen to be a couple of my favorite moments the LP has to offer, which come in the form of Mr. Scarface and A Minute to Pray and A Second to Die. And I want to choose the former to share a few bars from, because I feel like it's a very fitting introduction to this gritty and noisy experience. He kicks up this killer first verse rapping, "I don't give a fuck about the chatter in the background. Rappers get beat when they step, this is Axetown. If you don't know, I recommend you check and ask the motherfuckers how many heads I put to rest. I play a game, but the game ain't roulette. Slinging cane is a thing, and I bet that there's a lot of wannabe Scarfaces. I've heard the name in 99 different places. I'm here to squash it all, original will speak. Scarface on your ass from the streets. I left my cut in fear of a prison term. They want to put me in a chair and let me burn. But go to prison on a murder rap? Fuck that. I refuse to be a visitor at State's camp. So I broke and left behind all I worked for. Either that or be sentenced for a drug war. And many want to know why I've slowed up. It's either that or get fucked. Cause laws get happy on the trigger. Say fuck it, put a cap in a... But this ass ain't made for no caps, homie. This ass says exit only. So I get in the wind, but hey, a brother still sold a quarter every day. I sat around for 6 months, Black, waiting for the day to make a comeback. And now I'm ready for combat. Mr. Scarface is back. This solo debut was quite the do-it-yourself effort because not only does he opt out from having any guest appearances, but Scarface also handled all of the production on this thing himself, with the assistance of Crazy C. When it comes to my honorable mentions on this one, I have a myriad of songs to shout out, including The Pimp, Born Killer, Murder by Reason of Insanity, Your Ass Got Took, Body Snatchers, PD Roll'em, and I'm Dead. Then, as for my overall top 3, I think I'm going to leave Mr. Scarface out of the mix just because I already discussed it and there's so many moments on this LP worth recommending. So that's going to leave my favorite tracks as Money in the Power, Diary of a Madman, and A Minute to Pray and A Second to Die. Thank you for watching my 372nd video. Next time we are revisiting one of New York's most enigmatic late legends. So check in for that one, and if you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, and let me know what songs you enjoy the most off this revolutionary solo debut. Don't forget to have a great day, and I'll see you next time, okay? I